Okay, so I got this comment from a viewer a few days ago. 今度実際に主さんが行ってきた方法についての動画をお願いします。First of all, thanks for the comment. 何見てんねん111. I got you, bro. You finished watching all my videos and learned there's something called immersion. And you go, yeah, I'm gonna do that shit. Then you realize you don't even know what to watch for immersion. What the fuck? So today I wanted to share with you guys everything that I did and be completely honest to you as to what worked, what didn't, and how you can get started. So, before the end of 2022, I was suffering. Back then I was so bad at listening to English, and I was spending hours and hours online just to find a way to improve my listening skills. I watched a ton of videos where all those little soft motherfuckers were talking about how they learned English or some shit. But all the advice online was super crappy and nothing was clicking with me. And so, after about 3 months of research, I just said, F this. And I said to myself, I gotta go my own way and figure this out. So, I trusted my gut and decided to dive into the deep end. I decided I would just listen to English all day, every day, and do literally nothing else. So, right in the beginning of 2023, I started immersing myself in English. Now, this might come as a little surprise, but I wasn't really watching YouTube or Netflix in the first few months. I actually started off by listening to a podcast. What I was listening to back then was Anything Goes with MrBallen. There's no specific reason as to why I picked her, but anyways, I will listen to a podcast every single day. Whenever I had time, like when I was driving, I will listen to a podcast instead of music. When I was lying down in bed and, just chilling, not really doing much, I'd have to consciously remind myself, what are you doing, dumbass? You gotta listen to English, Now, for some people, that might sound a little crazy, but that's exactly what I did. Like, when I went buy groceries, I will listen to a podcast. When I was biking or driving back and forth to school, when I was eating, everything. I just listened to English all the time. But in my case, in the first few months, it was mostly multitasking. Like, I pretty much did it while doing something else. So I wasn't really, fully focused and zoning in like crazy, you know what I'm saying? But in retrospect, I think that was the biggest reason why I could keep going for days and days and didn't quit, even though I wasn't understanding anything at all. And it should have been too painful to keep doing it. And also, I would cut myself some slack, and there was quite a few times where I watched some Japanese contents, like Jaru Jaru, and I think those little breaks helped a lot to sustain my immersion too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
In mid-February of that year, so about a month or two after I started, there was a big change, and I will never forget that moment. It was a normal day like any other day, alright? I finished my class. I get back in the car. It's freezing cold inside, right? Because it's in the middle of February. Now, I need to go back home. So, like always, I was driving back home while listening to Emma's podcast. And 10 minutes later, I get to the parking lot of my apartment. I put it in back, and I'm backing into my parking space. And as I was backing up my car, I noticed something that had never happened before. I noticed that Emma was yapping about birthdays, and she was saying she doesn't like receiving gifts on her birthday, because, like she hates having to react. Like she doesn't know how to react or something along those lines. And that aha moment was so shocking to me, but of course in a really good way. Like so much so to the point where even though I had already parked my car, I stayed in this freezing cold car for another 5 or 10 minutes just to follow the story. After that moment, I would get more used to listening to English and be comfortable with it. At around the 2-month mark, I finished all the episodes of our podcast, which I think was like 150 episodes in total at that time. And the next month, so in March of that year, I listened to all the same 150 episodes once again. After that, I was getting pretty comfortable listening to English and gradually moved on to YouTube from podcast. Back then I liked watching Big Dose TV.
This direction right here, and I am not sure if I should just go this way and hook a right if there's like a better direction to go.
Steven Shapiro.
What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm Robot Man.
The Daily Dropout.
Got that?
And Angry Picnic.
Tag, you're it. What, are you serious?
They do pranks and stuff. And also, back then I was dabbling in coding for a little while, so I was also watching some coding tutorials on YouTube.
Texture, and I'm gonna pass through the...
I don't recommend it to everyone though, unless you're into coding, obviously. Now, looking back, I think I was choosing such contents that are more comprehensible and I could actually enjoy because of their visuals or whatever that helps to make it more comprehensible. Now it's been around 6 months since I started immersing myself in English, and around this time, I was really into watching videos where people are talking about how they learn languages or teaching the best way to acquire languages. It was actually around this time that I first met Stephen Krashen and learned there's something called comprehensible input, and people can acquire languages through immersion.
We call this comprehensible input.
Up until that point, I had been doing immersion just based off of my intuition and didn't even know whether it was really effective or not. But as I went deeper and deeper into this methodology of language learning, I started to realize that the shit that I had been doing was actually proven to work in research. And there's quite a few people who acquired other languages this way. Now I got some evidence to, back up like what I had done, and I was 100% sure that I was on the right track. And also, around this time, I met someone of an app, and she was an Estonian woman who was studying in Korea. By this point, I had been doing immersion for around 5 to 6 months. So I was pretty confident and optimistic about my English, until my ego got crushed when I met her. Because it was me trying to communicate in a second language, I felt I couldn't be myself. I couldn't express myself how I normally would. I couldn't use humor. I couldn't quite understand the movie we watched together. And I just felt that she kind of thought that I just a bit boring and didn't really have any personality because I couldn't connect beyond the very simple level. Whereas her English was so good, like super good, that she'd got freaking 8.5 on IELTS. I got shocked how ahead of me she was, and how I was nowhere near where I wanted to be. And worst of all, she was a polyglot. She spoke 5 languages, which are Estonian, Russian, English, German, and Korean. And when I asked her if her Korean was better than my English, what do you think she said? She honestly said her Korean was probably better than my English. And that completely destroyed my f***ing ego. But at the same time, she also told me that she had been learning languages mostly through watching TV shows and talking to people and stuff, so that sort of confirmed that, well, first of all, I was doing right? And second of all, if I kept on doing this, one day I could become fluent like her. So, all in all, that was a very super motivating experience. Fast forward about 3 months, so now it's in around October. I was chatting with this American guy, and he casually recommended this YouTube channel to me called MrBallen. And I ended up binge watching his content. Honestly, I think his videos are by far the best to watch for immersion, because he tells a bunch of interesting stories with a lot of gestures and pictures and sound effects. And he's so good at storytelling that he's got almost 10 million subscribers simply by telling stories.
And then at some point, this thing up in the trees began moving its way down closer and closer to Akbar. It was a 23-foot-long reticulated python. It was a massive snake. And this snake came down and launched an attack on Akbar, grabbing the back of his neck with its powerful jaws. Immediately, the snake wrapped itself all around Akbar and squeezed him tight. And after crushing Akbar, breaking almost every bone in his body,
I would honestly gatekeep the out of this channel because it's so good. I watched almost all his videos like twice, and some of my favorite ones, I've even watched them like 10 times, 20 times, and I've never got bored of them. I'll probably drop here one of my most favorites if you want to check it out. So finally, it's been a year since I started my immersion journey, and at this point, I was totally comfortable consuming English content, and it was around this time that I started watching a variety of content on YouTube, from comedy to self-improvement to fitness to travel. If you are interested, what I've been watching lately are Anwar Jabawi,
In the bag now!
Seriously?
Awkward Puppet,
Repeat after me. I can do this.
I can do this.
I'm ready to burn some calories.
I'm ready to burn some calories.
Andrew Huberman,
So try and get outside, ideally within the first 5 minutes of waking, or
Hamza,
Hamza, isn't it better for me to do a 12-hour workday today? But I want to lose 20 pounds. Shut up, bro. Dumbass.
Ali Abdaal,
So dopamine is this chemical in our brains that we figured out how to hijack in the modern world.
Samsulek, Joe Fezer,
So this is 10,000 calories worth of Big Macs.
Keani,
Good morning. It's another solo hike day.
Drew Brinsky,
In Japan, you can rent one.
Michael K,
What a lovely place to have a picnic.
and Small Brain American.
Got a little bit of life, a little bit of culture in here, you know what I'm saying?
My choices might be a little boring for you, and you might not really feel like watching them, but man, you gotta watch what you like. And honestly though, half the time I just sit around and consume whatever bullshit that pops up on my page, so I don't even remember what I'm watching. So that's pretty much it.